more likely to get a computer virus from visiting religious sites than porn sites. Hi guys, and welcome back. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some facts that will hopefully help you to relax. So sit back, lay down, relax, and get comfortable while I put you to sleep. Relax. Are you ready? And so the first fact is that squirrels are behind most power outages in the United States. Did you know that? These squirrels cause a lot of problems because they run across the electrical wires and cause power outages. The next fact is spider webs were used as bandages in ancient times. In ancient Greece and Rome, doctors used spider webs to make bandages for their patients. Spider webs supposedly have natural antiseptic and antifungal properties that can help keep a wound nice and clean. The next fact is a woman who lost her wedding ring found it 16 years later on a carrot in her own garden. On a carrot in her own garden. It's so crazy. This happened to a woman that was from Sweden, and she was looking for her wedding ring, and she found it outside in her own backyard in her garden. 16 years later. Another fact is blood donors in Sweden receive a text when their blood is actually used. That is so interesting. It's to encourage young people and to donate blood. So this hospital in Sweden will send a text message to the actual donor when it is that their blood has been dispensed to someone that's in need. I think that's kind of cool. The next fact is you're more likely to get a computer virus from visiting religious sites than porn sites. I'll read that again. You are more likely to get a computer virus from visiting a religious site than from a porn site. Wow, who would have thought that? The next fact is the inventor of the Pringles can is now buried in one. You know Pringles, the long container of chips. Now, the inventor, the person who invented the can, is actually now buried inside of a Pringles can. His name is Frederick Bauer, and he developed the idea for Procter and Gamble to form sunglasses were originally made out of smoky quartz in the 12th century China, and they were used by judges to mask their emotions when they were questioning their witnesses. Wow. The next fact is cotton candy was actually invented by a dentist. What? Cotton candy was invented by a dentist. It was a dentist called William Morrison and a confectioner, John C. Wharton. They invented a machine that spun candy back in 1897. And so it was first introduced in the 1904 World's Fair as fairy floss. That's what they used to call cotton candy, fairy floss. And then another dentist called Joseph Lasco reinvented the machine in 1921, and he came up with the name cotton candy. That replaced fairy floss. Isn't that interesting? I think so. The next fact is Shakespeare's epitaph contains a curse for grave robbers. When William Shakespeare died at 52 years old, he was buried in a tomb that featured an epitaph meant to ward off grave robbers. And it says, "Good friend, for Eve's sake, forbear to dig the dithst enclosed hair. Blessed ye be man that spares these stones, and cursed be ye that moves my bones." Basically what he's trying to say, or what it's trying to say is, good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear to take the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be that move my bones. Wow. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Another fact is a New Orleans hotel offered a $15,000 stay to whoever stole the most outrageous item from them. $15,000 if you were able to steal the most outrageous thing. So this was back in 2019 in the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans, United States. And they decided to celebrate their 125th anniversary by offering a free 7-night stay in their presidential suite, along with complimentary dinners, spa treatments, and it was all worth $15,000. But it wasn't just given away. The prize was only available to the person who returned the most outrageous item that they actually stole from the hotel. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So, another fact is children of identical twins are genetically siblings and not cousins. So basically, if two twin identical sisters had kids, their children you would think would be cousins, but because they were identical sisters, their children would be siblings and not cousins. So the parents pronouncing that right? Galápagos. So, because there hasn't been any sighting of Frenetina, that's a tortoise's name, for more than 100 years, scientists believe that we had lost the last of the creatures years ago. So, back in February 2019, the adult female was spotted around Frenetina Island in the Galápagos. So, they also found bite marks or nearly cacti that led them to suspect that there may be other tortoises in the area too. Maybe she got into a fight or something. Who knows? And she went in hiding. I don't even know. The next fact is the Goodyear Blimp is the official bird of Redondo Beach in California. You know what a blimp is, right? The big floaty thing in the sky, and it says Goodyear on it. That is actually the official bird of Redondo Beach, California. It's not a bird, right? But Redondo Beach, they in 1983 they made the blimp officially their bird. Another fact is it would only take 1 hour to drive to space. Now, many of you thought that it would have taken a lot longer to actually drive there, right? So if you got in your car, turned on the ignition, and drove up into the sky at 60 miles an hour, it would take just 1 hour to get to outer space. That's according to an astronomer named Fred Hoyle. Of course, this is completely theoretical, right? But it's kind of fun to think about. It would take an hour. I feel like it would take a little bit longer than an hour, right? I don't know. The next fact is a cornflake in the shape of Illinois sold on eBay for $1,350. In 2008, two Virginia sisters found a cornflake, you know, the cereal, that was shaped like the state of Illinois, and it sold on eBay for $1,350. Monty Kerr, the owner of a trivia website from Austin, Texas, was the buyer. And he explained that he wanted the special piece of cereal for his traveling museum. So he said that they're starting a collection of pop culture and Americana items. So he thought it was a fantastic piece, and so he bought it. Another fact is the amount of copper on the Arizona Capitol building roof is equivalent to nearly 5 million pennies. The copper roof, you can Google this so you can see it for yourself, of Arizona's Capitol building that's in Phoenix is undeniably impressive, especially once you learn that it's equivalent to 4.8 million pennies. That's a lot of pennies. Another fact is a cloud. The clouds in the sky. A cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds. Clouds knows who Neil Armstrong is, right? If you don't know, just Google him. And the Apollo 11 crew faced the real chance that they would not return from the moon safely, leaving their families without any financial support. And due to the extreme danger that they were about to face, they couldn't take out life insurance policies. So what they did instead, they signed hundreds of autographs, which their families could have been able to sell if they didn't make it home. Luckily though, those life insurance autographs were needed, right? Because they did come back, fortunately. But the autographs show up in space memorabilia auctions today. You can find them being sold as much for $30,000. The next fact is the Queen owns all the swans in England. According to British law, any unclaimed swan swimming in the open waters of England and Wales actually belongs to the Queen. The law actually originated in the medieval times when swans were a delicacy for the wealthy, and it actually still stands today. Queen Elizabeth II also upholds a centuries-old tradition with the swans. Every single year, during the third week of July, all the swans in the River Thames are counted for the Queen in a practice called swan-upping. Swan-upping. That's the best accent I can do. Swan-upping. Next fact. A fortune cookie company once foretold the lottery, and it resulted in 110 winners. This happened with the Powerball back in 2005. And they all attributed their luck to a fortune cookie. Wouldn't I like to get a fortune cookie that gave me winning lotto numbers, right? Another fact is, a woman with 2 uteruses gave birth to twins less than a month after having a baby. So when most people have a baby, they typically wait a little while before even thinking about having another child. But that was not an option for this woman in Bangladesh, who unexpectedly gave birth to twins in March of 2019. Less than a month after having a newborn baby. Now, of course, it's highly unusual circumstances came about, but the woman had 2 uteruses, and both were able to successfully carry the 3 healthy children to term. But the mother's doctor did admit that they were very shocked and surprised and never observed anything like that. I'm sure we just don't go around hearing all willy-nilly women having 2 uteruses and popping babies out left and right. I've never heard of that. But I guess that's happened, right? Anything's possible. Another fact is a meteor exploded over Earth with the force of 10 atomic bombs, and everyone missed it. So you'd think of a special body met a phenomenally fiery fate right above your hands. We'd actually notice it, but we didn't. But when a meteor hit our atmosphere on December 18th, 2018, and exploded with such a force that was 10 times the energy of the Hiroshima atomic bomb, it wasn't discovered by NASA scientists until after the fact. It turns out it was largely undetected because it took place over the Bering Sea in an area that was close, but not directly on the path of commercial planes flying between North America and Asia. That is how it was missed. Louisiana is the home to a rare pink dolphin. Did you know that? It's hard to imagine dolphins being any more wonderful than they already are. But a Louisiana bottlenose dolphin named Pinky is almost too adorable. First spotted in 2007, the unusual creature got its name from its surprising pink color, which is likely to result of a rare genetic condition. Pinky was seen again in 2015 and in 2018 while mating, despite the fact that fishermen have apparently seen her swimming with baby dolphins. They're not sure if she is their mother. So, another fact is a moonbow. Moonbow is a rainbow that happens at night. Wouldn't that be beautiful to see? If a storm is passing and the sun starts shining, you might be lucky enough to spot a rainbow. But did you know that you can see something just as amazing at night? While they're incredibly unusual, moonbows or lunar rainbows are caused by the reflection, refraction, and dispersion of light, and tend to happen most often in places with waterfalls and mist. There also needs to be a near full moon and there to be enough light for you to see this moonbow. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Another fact is bumblebees can fly higher than Mount Everest. If you thought it was impressive that humans can make it to the top of Mount Everest, you'll be stunned to find out that bumblebees can make it to the summit too. Researchers tracked 2 bees that were able to fly at more than 29,000 feet or 9,000 meters. They were just completely shocked at how high they could fly. Another fact is, the Terminator sold for $1. You heard me right, $1. You know the movie The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton? It earned a worldwide total of over $78 million at the box office back in 1984. As it went on, the franchise took in over $1.4 billion. Right? That's not bad at all. So before James Cameron became famous for directing blockbusters like Titanic and Avatar, he was just an unknown filmmaker with an ambitious idea. In order to get his movie made, he handed over the rights to the script for a token amount of the terms that he would be allowed to direct the movie. Despite the eventual success of the project, Cameron later admitted that he regrets the decision to sell such a valuable story for such a low amount. He said, "I wish I hadn't sold the rights for $1. If I had a little time machine and I could only set back something for the length of a tweet, it'd be, don't sell." Another fact is, scientists discovered an organism with a disappearing butt. It's called the comb jelly, also known as the warty comb jelly, sea walnut. It has a disappearing butt, a disappearing booty. Sydney Tam of the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, that interesting? Another fact is, a London tomb is supposedly a time machine or teleportation chamber. London's Brompton Cemetery inspires some strange beliefs. It's the final resting place of Hannah Cordy, who had a well-known respect for ancient Egyptians' astrological and perhaps mystical knowledge. She's buried there, along with two of her daughters, in a massive 20-foot granite mausoleum that includes a pyramid peak and a bronze door decorated with Egyptian hieroglyphs. And sumo wrestlers make babies cry for good luck. Aww, why would they do that? While most parents do what they can to prevent or stop their babies from crying, that's not always the case in Japan. That's because it's a 400-year-old Japanese tradition that if a sumo wrestler can make your baby cry, it means that he or she will live a healthy life. During a special